On today's ChurchTechCast.com screencast show, what we can learn from the Propresenter song format. Hi, and welcome again to the ChurchTechCast.com screencast show. This is the show where every week we talk all about using software in the church. My name is Paul Allen Clifford, and I'm your host. I'd love for you to join the conversation, by the way, so don't hesitate to head on over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/contact, and there you can find all my contact information, and you can also drop me a line on email, paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com. So I got a question where someone was asking how to do some bulk work on the song files in Propresenter, so I decided that I'd peek under the hood, and I found some interesting things. So I thought, let's head over to my computer and I'll show you what I found. Okay, so here we are. This is a text editor. Actually, it's one made for editing HTML documents and other code. But I just wanted to show you what happens when you open up a Propresenter song file in one of these text editors. And you may not have ever thought about doing that. But so here we are. This is my Propresenter library over here. And you'll notice that I've got several of these, and they tend to end in .pro5. So when I open it up over here, I get this one long line. And so if we scroll, you'll see it just goes on and on and on. And that is basically what the song looks like when Propresenter uses it. So let's get rid of that one. And this is, well, let me start with this one. I created just a blank document and didn't add anything to it. And this is what I got. So first off, what this tells me, in case you don't know, is this is, it looks like an XML file to me. So XML is kind of similar to HTML. It's got the less than sign words, greater than sign format. And anytime you have two of those in a row, the second one has the backslash saying, okay, we're ending this. So that's interesting to me. What's also interesting to me is that each song file contains width and height and width information, version information, just all kinds of interesting things in here. So we've got time cues, don't have anything in here because this is a blank document. Media tracks, timeline, the first part of the timeline is up here, and then nested within that are time cues, media tracks, and then in the timeline. Then Bible reference, renewed vision, pro transition objects, so that's where it tells you what transition you're using. Groups container, slide grouping names, and background color, etc. Now it took me a long time to get this from not one line but onto several, so it's at least more readable. But I took it just another step forward with "and can it be" here. And what I did was I added this into Propresenter and didn't do any other things to it. So while this one doesn't have any lyrics because it's blank, this one does. And so I also separated out each individual slide one from another. So if we go back up here, this is the heading stuff. So every song file should start with this. Then we go down to RV display slide background color. That's where the actual slides start. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slides, and this is the ending stuff down here. So this says, okay, this is the end of the slide, this is the end of the slide grouping, this is the end of the groups, this is the arrangements. If you had any special arrangements, they'd be listed down here, and this is the end of the document right here. So for most people, you're never going to want to look at this. In fact, I'm not totally sure why you're watching this screencast. But for some people that really, they want to tweak one thing in a lot of slides, this might be a good way to do it, because you could do a find and replace, and you could, let's say you wanted to change the background color on every single slide. Well, you could do, like make one that's the way that you want it to do, then select that, copy it, go to Command F or find, and then go down here, and let's say, I haven't played around with this, so I'm not sure exactly what would do what, but let's say that this is what you wanted to replace. You could just do a replace and go through song file after song file, just replacing that one thing. So that's an interesting idea. What I also find interesting is, you'll notice, I would expect that in a song file we'd have song lyrics. So we have all these slides. So let's see if we can't find the song lyrics, and we'll go from there. So let's see here. Cues, display elements, RV rect 3D position. That's clearly the rectangle. Dictionary. NS mutable string. Here, let's actually, I'm going to see if I can make that find window go away. Maybe not. Okay. So now, okay, I think that this right here is actually the song data. So for some reason, it's not stored in plain text in Propresenter. It's actually somehow encoded somehow. And you'll notice RV text element. That says to me that that is in fact the text. So if I were to go down here to any of these others, you'll see that we really, since I brought these in, I didn't do just a single line. So these are all long lyrics. So I expect that one of those letters means space. I expect that, or maybe a combination of them, and it's just some sort of code, and I haven't figured out what that is, but I find it at least interesting that that's what's going on. So That's the rectangle. That's the shadow. Serialization, shadow, container class, blah, blah, blah. Mutable string. That might be whether the slide is displayed or inactive. Number serialization, number of the slide maybe. Stroke, as in Photoshop, that's the line around the text. Color, number serialization. Yeah, so I'm not sure what. See, I've got NS color up here and NS color down here. So I'm not totally sure what the difference is between this. Remember, I'm just reverse engineering this. I don't work for Renewed Vision. I don't play them on TV, don't play them on this podcast. But I at least found that interesting. And the reason I even got into this was because someone asked, hey, Paul, is there a way to get into the file and change stuff in bulk? So I guess the answer is yes. And you could, probably someone that's good at coding could write a bulk tweaker, for lack of a better term, that does a find and replace or turns these XML tags into user readable stuff so that you could say, yeah, all these slides need to go together, and I want to change the tag information on all these slides. Something like that, where you could do this in bulk. If you did it one-on-one, clearly Propresenter itself inside is the better way to do this. This is just confusing. So I hope that's at least interesting to you. So isn't that interesting, just all the nuts and bolts and behind the scenes things that you see there? I really don't know why you go through all the trouble of doing all that by hand, but I can imagine that someone would create an automated way to do it. So if you have an idea on how to do that, or you know someone who would, drop me a line. If you like this content, don't hesitate to subscribe by heading over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/gifts, GIFTS, and you can get a free gift from me and a free subscription to my newsletter, where I send out all kinds of great tips all the time and let you know about fun things coming down the pike. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with trinitydigitalmedia.com. Go out and change eternity.